figure out how to do it. So Troy, you can fill in the gaps from there and give everybody a nice slide.
Thank you. So, thanks for coming. My name is Troy Gautier. I'm half French, half American. My father's French, my mother's American. I was born and raised in Kansas City, did my undergraduate degree in the States, went to France, did my master's degree, and then went to work for Cap Gemini. When Cap bought Ernst Young, I was transferred back to the U.S. To be one of the partners in charge of the integration program, so that was an interesting thing. I've done sales and delivery of consulting projects pretty much my whole career. Had a couple of small company experiences to help raise venture capital and private equity. And I've had my company now, Alliances Progress, for 7 years. I'm the CEO because it's my company. So it's a bootstrapped company. You know, I mean, we didn't get any outside money, and so I found myself a very average to poor entrepreneur after being in corporate my whole career, but I'm learning. So I'm 7 years into it, and I'm enjoying it, and usually I can get up whenever I want to, unless Jim tells me to be here at 7:30. So I like the give to get model. I talked to Jim probably about a year ago or something. I don't know, maybe.
At least 6 months.
Yeah, yeah. And he said, well, I've got this group, ITB. Why don't you join? You'd be good. You'd like the people. And I said, well, I'm involved in so many of these different associations and groups. And I've been in binational chambers. I've been in TAG for a number of years. And I chaired that international business group. And so it's not so much the money, just I don't have time. And he said, well, no problem, just hang out. When you're ready, let me know. So I did 2 things today to make a contribution. The first thing I did was I sent out a LinkedIn message about presenting today and got over 500 hits on it. So it gives you a little advertising. Yeah, so I just checked it right now. So yeah, so that gives about talking about ITB, and LinkedIn's a good platform for that. And then the second thing is because I stepped down as chair of the International Business Society, I rolled off one of my associations since I'm still on the board, but I'm not responsible for it. So today, Jim, look at this. I would like to join ITB, please.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to make sure we get a little picture of that.
Now I've won the hearts and minds of the group, so my presentation will be much easier.
Welcome
yeah,
aboard.
yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So I'm happy to do it. I don't know how much time I'll have to invest in the different things you've got going on, but maybe we can do business together. Last time I joined a group like this, Kettering Group. I don't know if you're familiar with them here in Atlanta or not. We ended up winning within, I don't know, 6 months. And the person who actually sponsored me into that group was working with an Indian company that wanted to grow its professional services arm in the U.S. One of the problems with that is you have to hire people, open an office, it's expensive, it's complicated. So he said, well, why don't I just build a strategic alliance framework and get resellers to do that for me, independent resellers. And I said, oh, great. He said, well, I don't know how to do it. So he called me and we made a pitch and we won the business. And it was a nice project for me. It was one of the first ones I did with my new company, so that's really nice to get your first project. And he ended up getting hired as the senior sales executive for the firm and did that for a couple of years. So it was a nice partnership. It's not just making a referral, but we actually work together on the project. And I like that a lot. My company, Alliances Progress, is specialized in building international business partnerships. So we have about 150 companies around the world, kind of like ITB, except companies, that I broker deal flow through. So I travel extensively, about half my time, and about half of that is international. So I'm trying to slow down a little bit and do some local business, and I'm making a little progress in that. But yeah, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about my company or anything like that. My theme today is strategic alliances to grow revenues and capabilities. Who has done an alliance, this kind of an alliance group, you know, I mean, it's an association. Who has worked in a partnership role or an alliance role, things like that? Yeah, a lot of you, yeah. It's becoming more and more habitual to work in networks, to work where you're not the employee, you're not the client, you're not the supplier, you're a partner and an independent partner. And so what does that entail, and how does that work, and how do you split the revenue, and how do you share the delivery, and how do you, you know, all that stuff. So that's what I do for companies. And it's an honor and privilege to be here presenting to you today. I haven't prepared anything really, so I mean, we can talk about anything you want to. First, is there any questions or you want to ask about the theme or anything like that? Yeah.
That's curious. Are you in multiple industries or certain industries you talk?
Well, when I was in Big Four consulting, we always had we had two. Can everyone see this board all right? You see it all right over here? We always had two, a major and a minor, and so we had verticals like this. So this would be like life sciences, CPG retail, financial services, and so on. These are vertical industries. And then we would also have horizontal service areas. And this would be like HR or IT or strategy, things like this that cut across these industries. So I was in a couple of these boxes. And pretty much, if you look at like a bingo card, they move us around so that, you know, we do a lot of different things. My main experience, I did some telecom. I was in charge of the telecom practice for Cap Gemini, Ernst Young. I've done financial services, mostly B2B. Life sciences, I've done some work in life sciences, medical device companies and biotech, big pharma. So I've got enough in each of those to be able to do one or two meetings. And if I need deep expertise, then I always use outside consultants for that and hire them and bring them on. Yeah, Erica.
Yeah, this is super awesome. So thank you for this topic. This is timely for me, and I've been in some of these and I haven't handled them with the skill and finesse I wish I had. I'm stuck in one right now that I don't quite know how to exit. So I'm wondering if you will address, I've got 3 or 4 on the table right now. I don't know how to address things like value, how to value myself. I tend to be a really easy adjunct and an add-in for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get asked, would you be willing to talk about a strategic partnership? I'd like to, almost like a white label, add you in. I really don't know how to have those value conversations. So,
Well, you call me.
well, I did not understand what.
Yeah. So yeah, the strategic. First of all, strategic partnership is one form of an alliance agreement, and not every partnership is strategic. Some people think that. What are other examples of partnership models or alliance models?
Preferred provider.
Yep, preferred provider. Yeah. What else? Channels. Everybody talks about channel management. Networks. Joint ventures. Joint venture has equity play. Doesn't have to be 50-50, but there's equity exchange. Alliances typically don't have equity exchange. They're carving out niches of the market, and they're going to market through each other, whether it's in the marketing or sales or delivery or product development. and they're sharing the cost and the revenues from those activities. Out on the West Coast, for example, right now we have competitors, fierce competitors, that are in alliances. And we call that co-opetition, where you're cooperating and competing at the same time. And usually they just carve out a little piece of that business where they're in alliance, and then the rest they're still competitors. But this whole notion of competitor, colleague, supplier, client, vendor, partner is kind of blurry today. And we're seeing more and more of these developments through what we call ecosystems. Have you heard of that term, ecosystems? What's an ecosystem?
So ecosystem is like building an ecosystem around the consumer, so that consumer doesn't think about going out of your services or product or your people. Apple is one of the ecosystems. So somebody who has an Apple iPhone, and they must have like other equipment, right? Like iPad and all. It is very hard to switch to Samsung. So they build the ecosystem. Similarly, every player is now today, Amazon is building with home security. Why they are doing that? Because of building the ecosystem so that people think only about Amazon doing shopping for anything you want. So that is what the ecosystem is. It creates a loyalty with the brand, and you keep on doing shopping and interacting with that brand. So that's the advantage. I would like to add here is
Stop. What else is an ecosystem? Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think of it as a group of interrelated products and services around which someone exists or exists.
Yeah, yeah. Ecosystem in nature. What is an ecosystem in nature? Come on. Yeah. Yeah, it's something where you have symbiotic relationships of give and take, of coexistence, like a pond. You've got an ecosystem in there with, you know, whatever is the animals that are swimming around and all the other things. And in business, these ecosystems, the example you gave for Apple, certainly they built their whole ecosystem around their products and kind of locked you in. But the ecosystem, more and more, are now open ecosystems with open code and open business development and things like that. And it's just a partner network, basically, a value network where you're building and developing your business with other third parties that are not belonging to you.
Troy, the question though, sorry, I don't know her name, was how do I value myself? Specifically, I think, and I'd be interested in drilling down on, do I do it by X dollars per hour that I estimate?
Oh, how do you bill?
I think that, if that was not your question, I'll ask.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's different ways to bill. In my company, when I sell something to a client, we either have a retainer. They join my network, just like ITB. I just gave Jim a check. Jim, I didn't put that check to the order of any individual. I hope that's all right. You might want to stick that in your personal bank account. You know, I mean, I didn't know if ITB had it. Yeah, it's a blank check. So I did put the number. But in my company, we have also a retainer agreement where you pay monthly dues, and in exchange for that, you're involved in my network and I help make introductions and broker deals. And then the other way is just project-based. And project-based is I want to pay you for this. I tend to do fixed price, and I like that model better. I try to, for example, if I have a $50,000 project, I'll try to get, you know, $10,000 up front, and then, you know, if it's a 5-month project, bill $10,000 over the next 5 months. I don't work by the hour. I do work by the day. I have a daily rate as well, if somebody prefers that. So for me, the billing issue and how you make money or how you bill your clients is, you know, personal and flexible and depends on who you know and what you're doing and things of that nature.
If I could just elaborate a little bit, the 4 basics that I use in particular would be similar to a retainer, And then there's KPIs, you know, key, right? So if you would have those, the scope, and you attain those, you get X amount of dollars. And there's always a commission. I don't know, you know, if you're in business development or some kind of achievement that the company achieves a certain amount of dollars.